notebook to take notes on. And I want to make sure that I don't forget what I'm talking to clients about or the important details. So preparing myself for the way that I know my life works is the reality of what we have to accept. And lastly, for my concept is spend the last 5 minutes of your workday, put it in your calendar, make a routine of what your closeout of your day is like. Does that mean you're responding to emails right before you leave? Does that mean you are clearing out your inbox? Or does that mean you're collecting all the papers and throwing them in the shoebox? I'm a professional organizer and all of my paper lives in a shoebox. And every other Sunday or one Sunday a month, I leave my kids and I come to my office and I work through this paperwork, because if I tried to go through this paperwork at any way, I would just get really overwhelmed and not make any progress and not pay my bills. So the way that works for me is hiring a sitter for a couple of hours, focusing on my paperwork. But when I'm cleaning up at the end of the day, all of my paper goes in here, so that when I'm looking for that one important paperwork, I know it's at least it's in this box. So that's it for me. We will open it up to questions. I see some questions coming through in the chat, but I'm very excited to work with all of you. I do work virtually, like I said, so we can go through your workspace, really help figure out what your problem is. These are just common issues that I see going into spaces every day, and really seeing the same problem come up. Everyone feels like they're the only one who can be going through this. They're professionals. How could they have this type of workspace? But there's just ways that we have to create systems around your certain routines and lifestyle to help you be the most productive, efficient person you can. So thank you very much, Christine. I'm going to hand this over to you.
Awesome. So one of the things, just sort of like segueing from what Tina was sharing around, creating this workspace in your home that works for you. Like, as a working mom, so many of us are trying to find things within our homes, and we don't often think about how it can really be in like a bite size as to how do you create this workspace that sort of sets you up for the long term. And so, by taking those tips from Tina around, like, once, whether that's a few hours or whatever it is, to get your workspace in a place that sets you up for success, it's hard to fail after that, because you've sort of aligned your space, you've aligned your mindset that you know where your things are, and then you sort of can get on your way. I think oftentimes where the barriers and the issues or challenges come up is like, we can't shift out of like, how is this going to serve us for the long term? Because if you're like anything in my household, there are so many papers per week. It's just the amount of stuff that comes home, the mail, the everything. And like, I do like Tina does, like, I have a pile and I have to go through it once a week, and it's hard to make it disappear. So I want to talk a little bit around the mindset of, being a working mom and thinking about how you can really adopt a Thrive mindset by starting small. So when I'm working with clients and helping them to think about, we live in sort of a rat race. It's a very busy life that we live, and we can either live in reaction and sort of like struggle and fight or flight and survival mode, or we can take a decision like we are today to say, I'm going to drop in and adopt a Thrive mindset, meaning today is the day that I'm going to start thinking about how on my daily and monthly schedule, I'm putting myself first, and then all of the things that come up in my life, whether that's family, work, extended family, the list goes on. And so I'll break this down in some of the concepts that we go forward with. So with, adopting a Thrive mindset, the next one I want to talk about is building in micro moments in your day. Most of us, if you're in that morning routine, you pretty much feel like you've run a marathon, and then you sort of log on your computer without any moment of sort of taking a breath or an inventory of how you're doing. And much of us have many, emotional things flying in, personal things, work things, but we're not sort of doing that daily check to see, what do we need in this moment? Can we take a pause before we like log in and try to get through like a million things in our work schedules or our personal lives, like all what it is. So I've come up with this concept of just calling it a micro moment. And what that is it's a couple minutes per day to really just check in with yourself, to just like take yourself off the hamster wheel and like make yourself a cup of tea and just like breathe and say like, all right, I have like a couple minutes. I'm just going to set myself up for this meeting that I have, take a couple deep breaths and like log in. See how that feels. Maybe at lunchtime, you do the same thing. Like you build in like a couple minutes to just sort of take a reset. It's these micro breaks that are sort of getting you out of the mode of just doing, and being in constant productivity without sort of like taking breaks that sort of like set you up to refill your cup. We'll go to concept 3. So the next one, so let's say like, you have those couple minutes in your day. It could be before a meeting. It could be right after drop off. It could be in the car waiting for an activity that your kid is going off to. The other one is, going back to this concept of really starting small. So I call this the micro shift. If you don't have an hour in your day to go to the gym or do something that, feels like a monumental task to take care of yourself, I often share that, building in 20 minutes a day can be hugely beneficial, just to remember that you matter, and that taking care of your well-being can be just a small shift in your day, and it can be really intentional. Like you could knock out 2 hours of work, let's say that's from 9:30 to 11:30, and you intentionally stop for 20 minutes so you can take a walk around the block, or you could I don't know, if you like feeding your birds, go to the bird feeder, feed your birds, do something for you for 20 minutes, but it has to be a clear break. It can't be, oh, I got to do like 50 more things till noon and then I'll eat something. It's really reminding yourself that taking that 20-minute break is going to recharge you to sort of get to that next block of the day. So what we're sort of doing here is interrupting the stretch of the 8-hour day or however long your day is, to sort of have these intervals of self-care and well-being for yourself. How are we doing on time? 12:22. Okay, so micro events. The life of a working mom, it can be so easy to be in constant giving to our children's activities, our extended family events that come up, whether it's birthday parties or holiday parties, whatever it might be. I like the concept of building in micro events because it's something that you can look at during a month or a 1 to 3 month period where you're like, oh, hey, I like that painting class. I think it'd be really fun to do it with some friends. I'm going to book that and I'm going to look forward to it. Or, okay, like 2 months from now, like there's something that I want to do with friends. And really, like throughout your year, just bookmarking and doing things that bring you joy, because there's so often times where we're always scheduling all of these things for our kids, but we're not really building those moments that are also for joy. And what I will share is that our to-do lists end up being never ending. And if we don't just start to like block by block try to do this, you can so easily fall back into patterns where you become burned out and you find that it's hard to find joy again. So I call that a micro event because there are some seasons where your family gets clobbered with sickness. So you're out a month because you're just taking care of yourselves or your kids, or maybe a family member isn't doing well and you have to lean into that, or your job becomes really, a high volume season. So this helps to break it down into like a small event where you can look forward to it. You don't have to like feel the stress of like, oh, I have to do this every week or every month. It's just, laying for it in the calendar, because you'd rather set yourself up for success than feel like you have this build up where you have to always have something for self-care or well-being. It's sort of meeting in the middle. And the last one, so mental health. This is the one that I think is most underrated. And I'm sharing this today because I am in so many moms groups online, and I see so many moms out there that they need connection and they need support and they need ways to be seen with all of this mental load that we carry. And, when we think about our daily lives, like most of this stuff is not easily to come by. We have, whether it's spouses, other family members, all these different obligations. Our mental health usually suffers because we are in constant trying to work out this formula for ourselves. So I really encourage all of you today to just think about how your mental and emotional health affects all these areas that you're trying to sort of resolve as a working mom. And a little can go a long way. So whether it's therapy, whether it's coaching, whether it's community, how are these small little ways that you're sort of taking care of your mental health going to help you through all of these seasons? Because it's not just the newborn stage, and it's not just the toddler stage, and it's not just the teenage stage. Like, this is our lives of ongoing well-being to support ourselves, and we all need to do this. It's maternal mental health for your life. So I really believe that is a huge concept that sort of goes by the wayside. But when we bolster each other and when we support each other and we see each other, it lessens, like, we're alone in this. We all have this mental load. It's huge. And some seasons are worse than others. So we really need to lean into each other to figure out, like, how is my mental health being supported by, what Tina's saying, like carving out the space for myself. Like, when I have that space organized and when I'm working through these systems, all of a sudden I feel better. So it really works hand in hand.
So great. That was great, Christine. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. I was so into what you were saying. I'm like, yeah, it's like, you're in my life. How do you know? So thank you so much for sharing that. Again, just to recap a little bit about what I shared: find the light, find what drives you, find what motivates you, find where you radiate the best, and set yourself up for success in that area. Clear the clutter, make the easy decisions, do the things that are easy, fast, and quick, then worry about the rest. Make sure you keep your essentials near you. Set up the systems so that the daily things that you're touching every day, maybe put a little tag on everything for a week and see what you actually touch. Clear the rest out and only leave what you need around you. Set up the systems, back to everything I was saying, and then shut down time. Really let yourself, like Christina's saying, taking those micro shifts for you. It's huge. Allow yourself to not just go from one task to another. Really be intentional about shutting down one part of your day and going into another, so you can be present and be where your feet are.
Awesome. So I just had a thought come up as Tina was sort of sharing that. One thing that I also think is helpful for everyone to sort of be seen, when you're on the hamster wheel, what I like to call is like the rat race of life, your to-do list is never going to be done. It's never going to be done. So I always like to think about, how do we figure out what the 2 to 3 items that are the highest priority to be done in a day? Start to think about what could sort of either come off the list or is like big picture or just gets dropped off. It's just a really important exercise to know that your well-being has to come before your to-do list, because you're never going to get through it. It just multiplies, and the more kids and the more activities, it grows and grows. So for my recap, around some of these tips. Adopting a mindset as number one, a thrive mindset, and one that you really believe that you're going to take stock of your well-being and really own it. And that has to start your day, like every day. And I hope you'll do this in community with me. That this is where you want to go, that you want to make some shifts in your life where you're going to implement some of this stuff because you really believe in it. Number two, micro moments. Whether you're working remotely or in the office, there's always a way to build in times to breathe, make a shift, take a break, whatever it might be, to sort of regulate your nervous system, to help you sort of take some breaths of like, what needs to be done today? Like, what do I need to leave for a different day? A micro shift. Maybe you don't have an hour. Maybe you have 10 minutes. 10 minutes taking a walk outside to get the mail or just like do something else can do wonders for your mental health, and just to shift out of all the daily tasks that you're doing. Micro event, if you're feeling in a rut or you just need something to sort of bring in some more joy, build it in your calendar. Like just move the obstacle away and put it in. Like something like that could just do wonders for remembering like what it's like to do something fun. Like we all can just get into the race of being in burnout for so long that we forget like, wow, just like going out to dinner with a friend or spending time doing an activity that you love, like it just does a reset for you. So I invite you to look at that as well. And then lastly, being in spaces that make you feel good. Today is really about community. I really believe that all the women that signed up for today or that are going to like check this recording out later are here because they truly believe that when you are connected to other women that are facing the same challenges and obstacles and you're nurturing your mental health, that you will get better. And so each of us, by looking at these things, getting inspired, thinking about a small little shift or a small little habit, this is each of us supporting all of us on this journey. And it is something that also gets passed to your kids. So this is not only like shifting it today, but you're shifting to show your kids that your well-being matters so that they know that. And what a gift that is. Like for me to be present with Tina today, who has a toddler and a teenager. I have 3 young ones under 6. I imagine most of the women on the call today have kids under 6 or older. It doesn't matter. It's all about how we take real stock of our well-being and sort of shifting the mindset that we have to do it all, because we don't. And today was really about systems and community and support, so we can really invite that ease in.
Absolutely. That's again back to the mission behind both of our businesses, is to help moms, because we are here for you. We started businesses to help women, moms like you, who are overwhelmed, who feel alone, who feel isolated, who feel like they're the only ones possibly moving at this rate. You're not alone. We're in the trenches with you. We're here struggling. My kid's at home right now with 103 fever with my husband. Like, this is real life. But I had this workshop to put on, and it's just the things that we deal with. So I know on the internet, it's easy to see pretty pictures of organized spaces and say they would never understand what I go through. And we want you to know that, of course, we understand, because we're going through it now with you. I went through it when my teenager was little, and now I'm going through it with my second. We all are here together. Reach out for support. Reach out if you have questions, if you just need someone to talk to or vent to. Just reach out. Sometimes just having someone else say, yeah, me too, it goes a really long way.
Absolutely. And I think also it's really about progress over perfection. If there was anything that you took away from today that is a nugget, it could be like the smallest little thing making a shift, and you try it out and you see how it goes. And let us know, like ping one of us to let us know if it worked, if some little shift happened for you, because oftentimes it's just deciding one day, I don't want to struggle anymore. I don't want to live in survival mode anymore. How do I set my space up to work for me? How do I set my mind up to be feeling like I'm going to thrive? And it's not going to be every day. Like the house of cards can go down any day, but it's how do we get back on that wagon? How do we support each other? How do we create systems and support so we show up as a better version of ourselves? Yay, giveaway!
Okay, so the real fun part, but before we get to the giveaway, in order to keep everyone here, we are going to give you some of your minutes back because we're going to let you implement some of the strategies that we gave you today and build in a micro shift for you. So we'll give you some of your time back, but at this point, we do want to open up to any questions that we can answer. After we do questions, I will quickly announce the winner. I have all of our little slips here. Hopefully the winner's on, and I'm not going to see this on a recording, but either way, we're so thankful for you guys taking your time to be with us today. And hopefully this helps. So now we will allow Carrie to jump on and ask us any questions that maybe got dropped in the chat. If you have a question, now is your time to get it in.
Okay, the first question we have is for Tina. How do you feel about filing cabinets?
So it's all about the systems that work for the individual. There's a lot of different systems out there that if it depends on how you use your space, it depends on your methodology, how you work, what do you do, how do you access your items. If it's something that's a legacy type paperwork, love filing cabinets, great. Never gonna need them unless I have to actually go. If it's something that I'm accessing every day on the daily, at least once a week or even once a month, I want it a little bit more accessible. I want to be able to see it. I want to be able to grab it, have it, fold it. Filing cabinets should really be for legacy papers, like if you're putting your birth certificates, your passports, medical documents, home documents, things like that. That's where we really want to spend the time to set up a system for your family life so that all of those documents are there, they live there, they move with you, and you add to them. But if it's, your monthly bills or other medical copay, things like that, I don't think that filing cabinets really work all that well. All right, next question. Is there any?
Okay, the next question I think is also for Tina. How do you decide what crafts you keep and what you throw away? So the kids bring home lots of crafts. How do you make those decisions?
I think this one's for both of us. So my decision is throw it all out, but obviously that isn't right for everybody. So there are solutions out there, things like Archive, where you can collect all of your crafts that you get and they will turn them into books for you. You can take pictures of them and add them to an album. Create an email address for your child that you can send them periodic pictures, letters, things that they did, so that one day when they turn 18, you can give them their email address and they have all of these memories from you. Hopefully emails will still be a thing when they're 18. So there are solutions out there. Personally, for crafts, now having a teenager, keep the important ones, keep the ones that they made specifically for you, keep the ones that Mother's Day, Father's Day, those really important sentimental things. All the everyday painting on a piece of paper with their fingers. I love you so much. Take a picture of it, get rid of it. I'm a little bit more cutthroat, guys. I'm sorry. All right, and then I did get one more question personally, so I will just go through that one. It was, what were these things that were in one of the pictures, like a paper sorter? These are wonderful and beautiful. And the cheapest option, they're like $3 at IKEA, and I use them for everything. You can use them for art supplies, paper, notebooks, books, whatever you want. You can get them online delivered to your door. And I think that's it for questions. Carrie, do we have any more?
I think there was one more, and it was what family calendar app would you recommend for an active family of 4? And I know somebody already put in here a great idea, but if anyone had anything additional to the Cozy app that someone suggested.
Oh, I did see that. So for me personally, in my family, apps don't work. I know I would love them to work. For me, calendars and databases and systems are how I speak. For my husband, who's a police officer, and my teenager, who is a high school sophomore, they're not going to look at my Google Calendar. They're not going to send me an invite to make sure I'm at something. They're going to tell me as I'm rushing out the door, hey, mom, don't forget I have this thing at 6 o'clock tonight. Right. So for us, what really works is having a calendar on the fridge. It's clear, it's beautiful, it's cute. But they can write things on there. They know where I'm at. If I'm going to be at an event, if I'm going to be out of town, they can see that there. They know when my jobs are booked. I know when my husband's crazy schedule is going on, and it's just what works for our family. I work with many families who do use Google Calendar, Skylight, the Cozy app. All of those are wonderful apps if they work for everyone on board. Everyone has to be able to use it, or I think I did see like one person be the administrator of it. But then again, it's a little hard. So what I like to do is I keep my Google Calendar, and the physical calendar is for family. What do you use, Christine?
I just absolutely agree with, like, it has to work for your family. Like, there's lots of apps. I basically use Google Calendar with my husband, and I've sort of like worked to train him on, like, he has to add anything, I have to add anything. We don't use special colors. It's just like all dumped in there. Who knows, it could change, but it's just really being, that's like, we both have to be trained to do it all the time. But I could see how a physical one could work. It really depends on ages, what your family does, but it's more about, like, is it getting used properly? Because that's, it's hard. I think a lot of moms hold most of the stuff in our brains, and we do the reminders and everything else. So it's like, we're basically like a physical and mental app ourselves.
Yeah, and having those micro and macro shifts to be able to brain dump all of those things here and there, whether it's on a physical calendar or on an app, are really great. All right, now the best part, let's do this. Moment I've been waiting for
And if anybody's live on, maybe just when you shout out the email to say your name so we know.
Please. They're all emails. Didn't get anyone's name, so I will just read out and hope that I don't mess anybody's name up. Victoria Brophy.
Are you on?
Let me look through. No, I don't see you through, but hopefully you'll see this later and be super excited. Congratulations,
Cool.
Victoria. Can't wait to meet you, chat with you, help you. But if anyone here on this call today feels like any of this resonated with them, they could use some more support, they could really take things to the next level, please, please, please reach out to me or Christine. You can go on both of our websites. You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Can't find me on TikTok. I'm not getting on TikTok, but the rest of it all, will see you there. And please reach out and let me know if you take any of these tips and implement them. I love when people tag me and show me what they're doing behind the scenes. So thank you, Christine, so much for doing this with me. You've been awesome, awesome, awesome collaboration partner. And I'm so grateful that we met and that we've been able to do this.
Same. Awesome. Are we picking one more name?
Oh, are we doing two?
Well, one for each of us, right?
Oh, I thought it was one gets both, but no, I'm down to do two. Let's do two. Daniela D. Gomez.
Cool.
So we have Daniela and Victoria as our winners.
Awesome. Congrats to our winners.
Congrats.
And thanks for everyone for coming. We hope it was a nice lunch hour. Like we said, we'll send the recording, the announced winners, the tip sheet. Please get in touch with us if we can help you on this working mom journey. Thanks for being a part of this community. And we hope to see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.